All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's just continue here with the news for you. There's been a federal crackdown assured as ESA alert fails to go nationwide, and now the feds don't just want to take over TV, cable, and AM and FM. Now they want to take over your cell phones, everything, and when you're in Walmarts and other stores, bombard you with brainwashing. Continuing with the news and information, the London Telegraph is reporting that Eurozone collapse will send continent into depression. The collapse of the Eurozone will cause a crash that could instantly wipe out half of the value of Europe's economy, plunging the continent into depression as deep as the 1930s slump, the president of the European Union Commission has warned. And that's Barroso. And basically they're saying, give us unlimited trillions. 2 trillion this month, 5 trillion next month, more taxes, more regulations, by the very banks that engineered the collapse, or society as we know it will end. That's what they've been saying. And they'll get a couple more bailouts out of fear-mongering, and then they'll go ahead and collapse the euro as we know it and call it a new economic system where everybody basically is just slaves to the new bank of the world. And so it is the end of the Eurozone as we know it, and they're all basically acting like that it's an out-of-control situation when really it's an order out of chaos situation. Now, I want to go to this next video. You've seen footage of people not allowed in Michigan to grow gardens, or you've seen footage all over the country in news articles where people are being arrested for lemonade stands. You've seen Amish arrested. I mean, the system wants you buying your food irradiated from a big box store, and that's the end of it, okay? They're SWAT teaming people selling oranges now. I mean, this is about control. This is about, I mean, Stalin wouldn't let people grow their own food. This is total control. And there's a new report from Natural News. It's also up at Infowars.com. Health Department tyrants raid local farm to fork picnic dinner. And it's a local co-op where people produce their own sheep, their own cattle, their own farm-raised vegetables. And then they all get together, maybe 100 of them or so, around a big, long picnic table out under the stars in southern Nevada. And you'll see some video of it coming up, shot by the photographer that was there to take photos for the co-op. And it's up on his YouTube channel if you want to watch the whole thing. But the state shows up enforcing their state and federal regulations and explain to them that you're not allowed to butcher your own food and eat it. And I've seen reports where people butchering their own deer get arrested now just because it's seen as unsanitary. We're becoming total prisoners as they feed us GMO food, irradiated rotten meat, as they push every form of poison on us. But the government comes in and says, oh, Big Pharma has been causing some agriculture problems, so we're now going to harass you, the little guy. Big Pharma and Big Agra, because Big Agra is Big Pharma, literally it's merged, is waging war against local farms and ranches, and that's what's happening. Here's the clip.
Please. And who are you?
Mary Oaks with the Southern Nevada Health District.
And why are you here?
That's all the information you need. I do have a personal life, too.
I want you to say that the health district has...
That is the essence of the bureaucrat. Just enjoying the fact that they're in authority, they're in power. They've got their little clipboard, they're secure, they've got all their little bureaucracies, all their little rules. I do have a personal life. That's all you need to know. I've invaded your space and I'm about to make you destroy your food. Look at the satisfaction. It's just like you don't get it. I win victories every day in my life against people just like you. Do you know who I am? Let's go back to it. They're destroying the potatoes. And they go on and say, any vegetables not approved by them are a biohazard. That's right. You know, I do have my own personal life. Let's go back to it.
Told us that we can't serve meat from the farm, meat from any farm, unless it's been United States Department of Agriculture approved.
Right. I knew that.
And
the issue was that it came from across the border.
Yeah, and because it was certified by Utah, we couldn't use
Hit pause. This is the bureaucrats telling them, you cannot grow, you can't. That's in the Food Safety Act. I told you, you cannot, they even said this in Congress, you cannot slice a watermelon you grew and have your neighbors over and feed it to them. And that's why it's like, there's not gardens in your yard. You're not going to raise honeybees. You're not going to have honey. It's over. We're the boss. They have the new Rural Affairs Commission taking over everything. Let's go back and finish the clip.
because the stuff that was approved by the state of Nevada we could use.
Oh, yeah, hit pause again. I'm sorry. You can go read all the news articles. The state came with the federal regulations and said, you've got to do all these things we tell you. They went and got permits. They jumped through the hoops. And they just shut up and went, you think in America you're going to feed some people some potatoes you grew? You're going to have some friends over here at the co-op where you guys all share the food you grow and produce locally and come and buy like there's... No. You people, because this is spreading all over the country, the system's scared. Humans are actually getting back to real farming. And then, I mean, I went to so many community events as a child at my dad's farm, family farm, where you know, when the grandparents were alive, where everybody brought food. They'd even barbecue. Meat they brought. People would bring vegetables they'd cook. They'd start in the morning, hanging out, playing games, horseshoes, cracking the food. They'd cook lunch, they'd cook dinner, hanging out outside. They're like, you're going to go inside and take Prozac and watch television, and you're going to eat a TV dinner that's got more ingredients in it than the Encyclopedia Britannica has. And that's the end of it. You think you're going to boil some potatoes? You think you're going to have free association? No. Go back to the clip.
Why can't you use the vegetables?
Because once they're cut, they're biohazard materials.
Yes.
And so,
Even though I boiled them.
and so they're forcing us to throw all the food away.
And pour bleach on it.
We can't feed it to our pigs because,
And we're not allowed to eat it.
and we're not allowed to eat it as private citizens.
All right, hit
And
pause.
we have to pour bleach on it.
Big Agra just totally destroys the food system. Take one example. They want to feed you rotten meats. They pass laws to radiate it. They just feed you radiated, bacteria, feces-covered food. They've got laws passed where they can have such amount of bacteria, bug parts. They're the ones writing the regulations, and then you've got totally fresh food. You're having some friends over to eat, and they say, no. See, that's how this works. Go ahead and finish the clip.
Okay, so you'll tell us if we're doing something wrong.
I'll end up signing off,
Okay.
and then you will be good, and I'll be able to leave.
I really think it's appalling that we live in America and we can't make choices about the food that we're planning to eat. Especially good food, fresh, wholesome food. Perfect food. Yes. And there's people starving in America and all over the world.
It's despicable with the feast that was prepared to have the order for not a valid reason for a certified chef to destroy all this food.
Exactly.
It's just an absolute shame, not because we're here, but because it's good quality food that has no reason to be destroyed.
It's alright for the USDA to let us all kill ourselves eating McDonald's, but this good wholesome stuff isn't alright. So, but that's such a terrible thing. We gotta do something about it.
What should we do?
Well, just collaborate like what we're doing now. Support your local farmers, and supporting local is where it's
That's
gonna
enough.
start.
It goes on and on. Look, here's the deal. These are well-meaning liberals. That's why they were chosen to set this precedent. You do this at some backwoods barbecue, you're going to get in big trouble. Okay? This is about the state running every level of your life, and they're scared that people are waking up, and they want to create a chilling effect over it. Unless you're a prince. Now, I've read books about it, seen documentaries. I'm glad the crew, without me even pointing this out, found this for themselves. That I've seen PBS documentaries and others where the royal family, no matter where they go in the world, have their own organic food taken with them. And on their ancestral lands, which are thousands of square miles, they have whole villages that are basically in the 18th century, or 19th maximum, with organic food, organic meat, organic everything. And Prince Charles goes all around being part of this and promoting it. So the elites are all into this. So what's happening is the foodies are now catching on to this, and it scares the system to death. So we got a short clip of Prince Charles in England going to a organic farm and praising him for all producing it right there and then delivering it up to him. Here it is. The Prince of Wales hosts a reception for the Garden Organic.
A sunny garden at Highgrove played the setting for a garden organic reception hosted by the Prince of Wales today. The charity has promoted ways of growing organic food for over 20 years and has attracted a number of well-known food industry experts to its cause, including Michelin-starred chef Raymond Blanc. The Prince's own garden at Highgrove has been run on an organic basis for the last 20 years, as is the nearby Duchy Home Farm. The gardens at Clarence House and Birkhall are managed in the same way.
What's happening is the trendies and others are discovering what the rich elite are doing. So now they want to copy it, and the system's saying, no, you're going to eat some McDonald's, you're going to eat some GMO. Now drink some fluoride and shut up and take your vaccine. Your cancer rate's tripling. The organics for the elite, not for you. Comprende? Now, speaking of the CIA holding the hand of Ronald Reagan, grade school in-class video or classified presidential briefing, CIA reveals videos it made to help Ronald Reagan. And here is just part of this incredible taxpayer-paid-for video where they're like, and then you'll go here, and then you'll go there. All just scripting everything for Ronald Reagan. And this was classified. This, the American people weren't supposed to see.
It will be nearly 2 in the morning on Thursday, May 26th, Mr. President, when Air Force One puts down at Helsinki. After an 8.5-hour flight and a 7-hour time change, the Finnish capital will be the first leg on your 10-day summit trip. On Tuesday, Mrs. Reagan travels to Leningrad for a day of sightseeing. Your day begins with a short morning meeting with General Secretary Gorbachev in his private Kremlin office, following which you and he will walk through the Kremlin grounds to St. Catherine's Hall for another session.
Look at those thugs.
The 10th and final day of your summit trip, Mr. President, will feature a noon address at the Guildhall, which is located in the Old City section of London and has been around for some 6 centuries. The primary host for the occasion that day is the Corporation of London, headed by the Lord Mayor. Along with the...
You notice they're talking about the Lord Mayor and the Corporation of London. Let's finish the clip.
Officials of the Old City will be members of Chatham House, the Royal Institute of International Affairs. Following the Guildhall address, you and Mrs. Reagan are scheduled to meet with U.S. Embassy personnel at Winfield House prior to your departure for home. Shortly before 2 p.m. London time, Air Force One will take off from Heathrow Airport for the 7.5-hour return flight and scheduled late afternoon arrival at Andrews Air Force Base.
And all of this is scripted to this day. You notice that looks like news from the 1980s. That's because the CBS Broadcast Center in Manhattan at that time was producing the news packages for the other networks. It's all scripted. That's why it's the same news in the same order with the same commercials. As we've shown you earlier in the week, it's all completely scripted. That's why they hate the internet and hate free speech, because it doesn't allow them to send one conduit of poisonous bull into the people's minds. Now, speaking of evil,